Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Malcriada. But it's not just any episode. No. It is the very first episode of Malcriada Thoughts, Season 2. And we've rebranded. The pod has a new name now. It now goes hand in hand with my website. Go ahead, check that out. That was the big surprise for the projects that I had lined up. I had a website. I have a blog now. What else? I post my poetry on there. A bunch of poetry that I have that I hadn't posted is up there now. I'm going to be posting art pieces, like paintings, when I make my pieces. And yeah, it's just creativity all around. Thank you guys so much for sticking by me and supporting me and listening to the pod and having me in your ear. I think that's super cool. I made a video about this. I'm gonna post it soon, but there's something about podcasting that just helped me out a lot. Not just making podcasts, but first listening to other podcasts, and damn, like I could say that they pretty much saved my life in a way. Like, it provided me a virtual community that I did not have in real life. I did not have a real community in real life. And the people that I was close to, there was always something missing, I feel. And something that they didn't really understand. Like, not everyone wants to talk about feminism all the time, you know? And not everyone wants to talk about capitalism. Not everyone wants to talk about all of the shitty bullshit shit in the world. And the podcast that I listened to did. That's all they talk about, and they don't fucking put a big fuss about it. In fact, they dive into it and they love it, and we just flow into each other like that. And I think that's really amazing. And I wanted to be that for other people in my community, because I did not see any podcasts that were from the Valley that were RGB based, and we're talking about the things that we go through, the things that people of the Valley go through, the things that older daughters go through, the things that first gen students go through in the Valley, specifically, not just any Latina, not just any person around the world, but specifically girly pops and boy pops and they me pops of the Valley. And I think I just really want to pay my, not debts, but I want to be thankful for my community, because I think it's amazing. I love the Valley, and that's my identity, I guess, now. Like, I'm always that person that's like, don't hate on the Valley, bitches. Just don't even. All of the fucking things I see on the internet about the Valley, dude. I was doing research for another project that I'm not gonna tell you about. But I was doing research for another project, a writing project. I'm just gonna tell you that. Yeah. And I looked up RGV Valley 956 on Pinterest because I needed inspiration. And a fucking BuzzFeed article popped up. It was like something 10 things you'll find in the Valley or something like that. I'm not even gonna bother to link it because it pissed me off to my core. And you know that one of the photos for it was a bunch of men, Latino men, like with their cuffed hands in a line. And I was like, why are you using that? If you're working for BuzzFeed, that tells me everything. If you're Latino working for BuzzFeed, girl. Okay, no hate to Latinos working in BuzzFeed, but to BuzzFeed and not the people, because that's what they want to hear, you know? The media for RGV, the media for Latinos in places that aren't super rich and popular, like LA or New York, just in random ass places, like the Valley. We need representation for that. We need small town representation, and we have to start thinking of the fact that we don't have to move to these big ass cities in order to have a life, in order to be known, in order to make a name for yourself. And that's what this podcast is about. That's what I'm trying to influence the youngins of the valley, the Malcriadas of the valley. Because let's face it, not everyone has the privilege to fucking just, oh, let's just go and move to Austin. Let's just go and move to Dallas. Let's just go and move to Houston because I have the money to, and I can. Not everyone has that money. Not everyone has those privileges. Not everyone has that access. And for those people who don't, I don't want them to feel like their life is over, because it's not. It's just beginning, and there's so many things to do. And the valley is such an amazing place to do that because, again, we're a small town. We need a lot of firsts. We need more firsts in the valley. And I am seeing a huge uptake in this. I'm seeing a huge increase in new organizations and media groups and yada yada yada. And I'm just really proud of the activists of the valley and the youth of the valley, because 20s 30s, I believe that's pretty young still. And a lot of the 20-some-year-olds, 31-year-olds are the ones that are doing the things right now. The millennials and the Gen Z we're kind of right now, we're the leaders. Like, Gen Z is not little anymore. Like, we're in our late teens, 20s, mid-20s. Gen Alpha is now the little babies. And we need to make this world a better place for them. I don't give a fuck if I don't have kids. I don't give a fuck if these kids are not my own, if they're strangers to me. I don't care, because the kids are oh my god, that's a whole another conversation. But let me just leave it at that and start talking. Let's see, what's the first point right here? The first point is to talk about the rebrand. Okay, so all right, the rebrand happened. I was, like I said, because, well, the title was just too long. Malcriada, that's a girl in a sick world. And I couldn't think of a cool acronym for it. But I didn't want to get rid of Malcriada. Like, that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing, right? So I was like, what about just Malcriada Thoughts? They're just my thoughts. That's how it started, like, in general. And thoughts, I think I could do a cool, like, double, like a wordplay on thought. Like, thoughty, But eventually... but yeah, that was the reason for the rebrand, just for more simplicity, so it can reach more people, so not that wordy. Yeah, and I thought the logo I needed a logo, and I don't know how to make a logo with Malcriada Thoughts of a Girl in a Sick World. Malcriada Thoughts of a Girl in a Sick World. Too long. Yeah, that's all on that. I didn't want to talk to you guys about the Malcriada persona, the little purple bitch that you guys see on my art and like everywhere on my cover art. Okay, that's the Malcriada persona. And the reason she's purple, the reason she is the way she is, let me talk about that. Let me talk about the character design. So, she is a shapeshifting succubus. So, like a demon who shapeshifts. And I gave her lilac skin because I'm so emo for this, but this is real. This is me. This is real. This is me. This is the reason. Because at the time, oh my god, I'm so emo, but I don't care. I'm gonna embrace it. At the time before I made the podcast, I was feeling really dead inside. Really, really dead. Like, just in the sense that I wasn't living. So if you're not living, what are you? Exactly. So I was feeling very dead. And I drew this little bitch and I gave her purple skin because I was like, oh, well, when you die, your skin turns like bluish, greenish, bluish. Well, yeah, it gets cold and it looks purple because it's dead. And yeah, so it's like my corpse. She's like my corpse. So like she died and she came back as a shape-shifting demon. Okay, so that's her. And she is always in go-go boots most of the time, and like bikinis and like exotic wear because she's an exotic dancer. I was a go-go for a little bit in the valley, and that was when I felt my most free, my most like confident I felt as a dancer. And I was able to do that because I had my best friend of all time. We pushed each other to do that, and we just were like, what if we become go-go? Like one day we were just like, bitch, what if we become go-go? So she was like, bitch, and then we did it, and we manifested that shit, and that gave us like such a big boost in confidence. We're like, oh shit, I can do anything. The experience could have gone better, right? But it is what it is, and we're here now, and luckily no one got hurt, and we're here, we're queer, we're alive, we survived. It was fun while it lasted. I hope I can still go again sometime. But if not, I do want to dabble with burlesque, because oh my god, dude. Okay, little warning, I'm gonna talk about, heavy stuff, so just checking with yourself a little bit. Okay. When you experience abuse, when you experience assault of a lot of kinds, but specifically sexual assault and sexual abuse, as a child, as a teen, as an adult, it is going to have detrimental effects on you. It's going to feel really, really, really ugly, and because you don't feel safe in your own body, because you feel invaded, because you feel like there was a part taken from you. And even though that's not true, you still feel it, because this society upholds a rape culture that is so ugly and demeaning and degrading, and it pisses me off to my core. And yeah, so I've had a lot of issues taking back my confidence, taking back my security in my body, which is something I've come to realize. I have never been secure in my body. I sexualized it, and that's the only thing I did. If you only sexualize your body and yourself, you're not confident. I'm sorry, but you're not. You are just, yeah. And don't get it twisted, like, there's people who are sexualizing themselves, but that's not the only thing they do. Like, for example, dancers. Dancers don't only sexualize themselves. There are performers. This is an art. And I think burlesque is a beautiful thing, because burlesque is the thing that is really popular up here in Washington. There's a really big community for it, and I fell in love with it. Oh my god. I'm gonna have a little frame right here on my desk. Can you hear it? Okay. And I went to my very first burlesque show ever, and it was a Latine showcase. And I got a signature. I got signatures. There was a drag performer, and then there was burlesque performers. It was just amazing and beautiful. There was drag kings. It was amazing. And I got a signature from my favorite burlesque performer. Her name is Sneaky Boo. She is everything. She is a Latina trans burlesque comedian and burlesque performer. Like, oh my god, like she does everything. And oh my god, just her I'm getting chills right now as I'm talking about it, and I'm remembering it, because her performance was so glamorous. Because I saw her do a comedy routine, and she also performed in the burlesque show, and it was so amazing. I got her signature, and I also got the producer signature, and oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Latina Kate Turner, she's so beautiful and amazing, and I was just in awe. And I got her signature too. I also got a signature of a drag queen. Her name is Louie. So I have it right here by my desk to keep me motivated. But yeah, they really motivate me to try to pursue burlesque already. I have a little routine in my head, and I made the music for it, but I've never performed up here. I don't know anyone up here. I have no pool. And then when I try to get someone's Instagram, they didn't follow me back. I was like, oh, bitch. I was like, hi, can I follow you on Instagram? And they're like, yeah, it's this. And they didn't try to anyways, it's fine. You don't have to follow me, but I'm trying to build connections. Damn. Anyways, yeah, it's a little hard up here to talk to people. I've only made one solid friend up here. Shout out to Kiko. And I have other people that I've known and hang out with, but I wouldn't consider them super close friends. I'm not as close as my friend Kiko. And yeah, so I do want to pursue burlesque. I just need to get into it somehow, and I'm figuring it out. Essentially, I just want to take my power back into my body. I want to feel secure. I want to feel sexy without feeling shame. And I think the burlesque community is one that showcases that so well. Oh yeah, I also speaking of burlesque, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the pod already, but I also went to a class. It was a burlesque and witchcraft class, and talked about how our sexuality is magic. It was led by Judas St. James, a really popular and amazing burlesque performer, and up here in the Pacific Northwest. And yeah, I haven't been able to go back to that place because it's kind of far from me, and I have a lot of anxiety driving by myself up here. But I want to get rid of that because I don't want my time up here to go to waste. I have a little bit of time up here left, a couple months, not a couple, basically like half a year up here left. And I want to make the best for it, learn as much as I can, and then take it to the valley. Yeah. But this whole aspect of performance, it reminds me of how I grew up and how I see most Malcriadas. See, I love performing and like dancing and like doing that kind of stuff because I know it's a performance, because I have time to prepare for it, because I have time to work on my craft by myself and mess up and learn from it. And it's something that I choose to do. But the performance of being a woman, the performance of being a good daughter, a good wife, etc., I didn't consent to that. Yet it is forced on us. The idea to be the perfect little daughter, the perfect little wife, the perfect little object. None of us consented to that. We were just born into a society that holds those standards up, and it lacks our consent. And that's why it's so draining, because when you're doing something that you didn't choose, enthusiastically crave and want and yearn, it's not going to feel good. It's coercion. We are being coerced by our societies to abide by patriarchal standards, a white supremacist standard, a capitalistic standard. And we were never consulted. We were never consulted. And I love how all that ties in together, because I always go back to it. As above shall below. It's so trippy to me how sometimes like so many sayings of the Bible are like so true. But then at the same time, it doesn't trip me out, because who wrote it? Just some guy. Just some people. Some people just wrote it, and they have the same thoughts. We are capable of having and creating those same thoughts, as complex and beautiful as they are written in the Bible. We can have those thoughts. We can create those thoughts. And that's what I think our art is. The Bible is just art. It's just art. And it could be interpreted so many different ways. It doesn't have to be your Bible. But yeah. Anyways, we're performing all the time, but without our consent, and that's why we're so tired. That's why we're so tired all the time. And we're performing for anyone else, everyone else, except ourselves, when we are the most important audience in our lives. But in this wave of capitalism disguising itself as self-care, it's a really dangerous thing to think about. Like, oh, you're the most important audience. I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to go down that hyper individualistic route. And it's really easy to fall into that. It's so easy. Another Bible quote thing. The devil's path is huge. It's large, easy to walk in. But God's path is tiny, and narrow. I don't know where it's from, but I heard my mom talking about it, right? And it's true. Like the path to good is really narrow, and the evil path, quote unquote, is wide and easy. Because why wouldn't it be? Because if everything is easy, then you don't learn anything, you don't grow. And shit, man, like, I don't want to fall into this idea that I just have to buy things for myself because I'm not enough already. And I've been trying to not do that. Like, for example, like makeup, there's like the same palettes. There can only be a combination of some colors, guys. Like, it's just packaging. Like at one point they're just selling you packaging. And most of the makeup most of the palettes that I have, they were all gifted. Oh my god, yeah, they were all gifted. Yeah, this Too Faced one was gifted by my best friend in high school. Then all these ColourPop ones were gifted by an abuser. And then this Revolution one was also given by an abuser. I've only bought one palette for myself. That's wild. But yeah, shit. And I don't want to fall into that, guys. I don't. What do we do? And that's what we're going to figure out, okay? That's what I'm going to try to figure out this season. I'm going to try to give you guys resources. I want to pull my demographic and my listeners and my supporters away from overconsumption. And I know it's hard. Like, I'm right there with you. I'm not up here telling you, you shouldn't buy this. How dare you buy this? Like, no. Like, it's fucking hard and it's not your fault, but we need to do something about it. And that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. I see a lot of like, oh my god, there was this girl that I knew back then and she is a really good example of this. Like, she was incredibly smart. She was so intelligent, so articulate. She was fast. She was thought on her feet. She was so quick on her feet, dude. Like, I admired her a lot until I got to know her a little bit more. And it was this sentiment. It was like, you guys all bullied me and looked down on me because I was poor, because I was Mexican, because I was this and this and that. I was from El Rancho. So now they'll see. They'll see now. They'll be sorry when they see all the success that I make. And I was like, damn, girl, like, who hurt you? And it's like, it's crazy. Like, there's so many like Latina and Latino politicians who think just like that and are just out here to just make money and do whatever they want once they get into office. And that's not something I fuck with at all. And that's why I left politics, because I was only meeting bitches like that, and it's fucking annoying. And she also talked, I'm not even gonna get into it. There's so much that bitch did. But that bitch was also an oldest daughter, you know? Like, she went down that route. And I don't want to see oldest daughters, like, go down that route. That ugly, hyper individualistic, I'm just going to watch out for me because no one else has my back because all you bitches are haters. Like, I don't like that. Why can't we be friends? And that bitch threw me under the bus. Like, I could have gotten in so much trouble. She got me. I could make a whole show about my experience in the Capitol. Oh my god. Like, that'd be so fun. I'll name it Interns. But yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to take y'all away from. I don't want you guys to fall into that. I really don't. So that's why I made the pod. That's why I have my blog. And that's why all my content is free as of now, because I can afford it. Once I go to grad school again or get a job, I'll probably have to like wait a little bit and my episodes won't be as consistent. But I'm here trying to make content for y'all. I'm here trying to make content for my community. I'm here to represent the RGV, and that's it. That's all I want to do. All right. Which brings me to my final point. We Malcriadas are shapeshifters. We're forced to shapeshift into a mother for our younger siblings at a ripe age of like 8. Not even 8, like más chiquita. We shapeshift into a partner for our mothers. We shapeshift into a parent for our mothers and fathers. We shapeshift into their therapists. We shapeshift into head of households. And it's really, really tough for a little girl to have to play these many roles, because then you're left with a loss of your identity. You don't know what you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know what your values are. All you know is to do the work for other people. And you do that work really beautifully and amazing and with all your heart and with all your love and the best intentions. But you didn't choose this. And it wasn't meant, this work wasn't meant to be carried on your shoulders, baby girl. And yeah. But guess what? Now we have these skills. We have all these skills. We're amazing leaders. We're amazing managers. We're amazing community leaders and amazing workers. But that's not all we are. We're people. And right now, the state of the world is terrifying. There's genocides in almost every country in the world. And in the countries that aren't going through a genocide, they're probably the ones perpetuating the genocides. That's the reality, bottom line. And we need to get on our fucking Zoom. We need to do something about it. And I know that it's hard. I know that it's like, but what? And we're met with so many buts. What's that expression? We're met with so many if buts and coconuts, and it's stressful. No one wants to do the work. Everyone wants to get money, but no one wants to do the work for escaping these ugly systems. They're just focused on, again, that hyper individualistic mindset, that colonial mindset that I only watch out for myself and those related to me. And that's horrible. I think that Malcriadas can use our shape-shifting abilities to play any role that we need in the revolution. And we are already doing it. That's the thing. There are so many amazing organizations in the Valley. There are some that are popping up. A really, really, really big one is Trucha RGV. Oh my God. Like when they came across my feed, I was like, who are they? I have to know. And I binged all their content and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I was so excited. I subscribed to their podcast. Go subscribe to the podcast of Trucha. It's called La Frontera, I believe. I'll link it. Don't even worry about it, baby girl. But yeah, like Gen Z, millennials, we're doing we're going about the economy in such a different way. We are inclusive. We are not exploitive. We are trying to diminish and get rid of those exploitative measures that usually come with having a small business, with having an organization. Even nonprofits. Nonprofits are like the biggest fucking scam ever. They're like, yeah, we do so much work. We help so much the community. But the founder gets all the money and the workers get paid pennies and have to sleep in their cars. And they just have to be happy with the fact that they're changing the world one day at a time. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. I kind of want to go to the RGV and like go to all the nonprofits and ask them how much does your president get paid and how much do your workers get paid quickly. And yeah, fuck, man. I'm excited for this new wave of projects, of creations. Back to Trucha RGV. Back to Trucha RGV. They're an amazing multimedia platform talking about important issues of the RGV. So they will be linked as well. They're linked on my website, actually. You guys can go check them out at the very, very bottom. Also, like, there's more food banks. I want to not bring more co-ops, like I'm the only one who's going to do it, but I want to see more co-ops, essentially, in the Valley, instead of just nonprofits, exploitative nonprofits. Because that's the issue. Like, I don't want to name no one right now because maybe there could be like a collaboration of some sorts. Maybe they don't even know that what they're doing is wrong. And it's so easy to be like, okay, but there's so much information out there. Yeah, but the people running these things are old. They're old as fuck. And they don't have access to, they don't have the ability to maneuver the internet the way we do, you know? We grew up on it. For them, it's really new. So for us, it's like our very first thing. If we don't know something, it's like, oh, let me just Google it. Like, previous generations don't have that. Gen X doesn't have that. Our own parents don't have that. Of course, our grandparents aren't going to have that, you know? So I really want to bring more hope and be hopeful for the revolution, be hopeful for the liberation of everybody, because no one is free until we're all free. And I really believe that. I have my flaws. Everyone does. But I'm trying to show up, and I hope that I hope that counts in the grand scheme of things. I don't know what's going to come after death. I don't know what's going to happen, but this feels right. That's all I know. I'm going to end the episode already. I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I have a new episode going to come out at the same time this one goes up. So I have 2 episodes for you guys on the same day. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the very first episode of Season 2, Malcriada Thoughts. This was your host, Sadger Knives, signing